Hey you guys, I'm hopping on to tell you about another edition of Crazy Housemates. I'm now living in a new spot because the last place I was staying, dude was just crazy. Now of course when you go in to meet people and before you move in, they're all saying they're in their right mind. So I had no idea that this man was crazy, but God had given me signs before, but I didn't know what to do with him. So let me tell you the story and then I'll tell you the signs that God gave me that I didn't really know what he was trying to tell me with. I didn't even see him as signs until I started witnessing this crazy man's behavior. Alright, so I think I'm going to start with what actually got me to be like, okay, it's time for you to go, Shauna. You need to move. Okay, so apparently somebody was smoking marijuana in the apartment. Now, I don't smoke. Now, if you ask me about my past or maybe a few years from now, I don't know. But as of now, as of when he was accusing me, as of a couple years it's been, I don't smoke. So somebody apparently was smoking marijuana. He got upset. He didn't know who it was. So he started making an enemy out of everybody. So it was me, another girl, and only him in the apartment. So he gets up the next morning. He has the phone. He's letting me hear some ruckus. I don't know what the ruckus is saying. It just sounds like a bunch of static. I'm like, who is that? He was like, yeah, it's my next door neighbor. Oh, I was like, the lady next door? He was like, yeah. And he said, you know, she's blind and stuff, so she's real sensitive. And she's going off because somebody was smoking marijuana. And so, you know what? I was like, it wasn't me, so I don't know why she called you. That was that. Then he brought it to my attention again. So you know when somebody keeps bringing it to your attention, they're basically accusing you. So I was just like, you know what? I don't smoke. And that's how I said it. Because he kept going on and on. Like, she keeps saying she smelled the marijuana. I don't smoke. Like, I was hot. Because I knew he was accusing me. And I don't even, you know, smoke. So he was like, well, this last night I smelled it coming from the window. I was like, I don't smoke. He was like, well, how come I smelled it from the window that you're by? I don't know. Was it the other girl? Well, she only smokes cigarettes and she goes down the street and smokes her cigarettes. Well, I don't know what to tell you because I don't smoke. So I keep reiterating that to him. I kept doing that because I'm like, you're accusing me and I don't do it. So whatever. He accused me and I was like, you know what? I'm going to just let it be. But he couldn't let it be because he thought I was lying to him. So the next morning, he got up. He was like, oh, you're in your room and you're doing this, talking on the phone, and I just want you to keep an eye out for people to make sure that they're not smoking downstairs or around the corner. And I just want you to keep an eye out. He was like, and when you're done, I want you to put it on YouTube so we can show the world about these effers, and just going off and acting stupid. And then what really made my heart tank, he was like, you just don't care as long as I'm not messing with you when you're God. A word I don't even want to say until a couple, you know, he said S-H-I-T. I don't want to say that too close to, you know, the Most High. So he was like tripping. And I, you know, it just made my heart tank that he was going off like that. So that was on me. So the girl across that stayed in the living room with me on the other side, we only had like sheets dividing us. And she would always have the smelly, dirty laundry. And he didn't like the fact that she made this food that had onions and stuff. So, because he said it made a bad smell, but I never really cared about it. But the laundry was kind of bad sometimes. But, so he didn't like that. So he was like, I got this smelly girl that's in this room. And she can't even do her dirty laundry. And just going off. But luckily, she wasn't there to hear it. So that was her. Then he doesn't have a good relationship with his neighbors downstairs. So he was calling them wetbacks and snapping it. And I was like, you know what? These people might come after me because I'm living here with him. And I'm living, you know, in that apartment with him. And they might see me going out there and they might take out their lashes. And, you know, might take out their anger on me, mad at him. And I'm the one that's next to the window. He's the one in the back. So if they start shooting and stuff, he's going to miss it all because he's in the back room with a door. And I'm in there with my bed and stuff right next to the window. So they would have came for me. But that was the night I was like, you know what, I gotta go. And aside from that, like before that, stuff like he would be screaming and talking to, I don't even know. He'd be talking to his food. Yep, you're gonna be so tasty. This is gonna be good. Yada yada yada. He was like a little bitty kid. I asked him to borrow some ketchup one time. One time, just for my tater tots. And I guess a week passed and he bought some fish sticks or something, and he was like, nobody gets to use my ketchup, okay? Nobody. I didn't say nothing. Then he said it again. You guys, I have stuff now, so nobody gets to use my ketchup. So of course he wants to make sure I heard him, which he knows I can hear him because it's only a sheet that's dividing us, like dividing me from the kitchen. So of course I can hear what he's saying, but I guess he wanted a response, and you know how people keep doing, they want a response, so they keep talking. So then I was just like, I got my own ketchup. And then he tried to make a joke out of it. Oh, what kind do you have? I said Heinz. Oh, he's like, oh, I'm gonna use yours. You know, stupid stuff. He was like a little kid, you know, always upset. Then some girls came to visit from Holland, Poland, someplace. They came from out of town to, you know, stay with him because I guess it's cheaper than a hotel. So they stayed in his room with him. They had a sheet dividing them in the room. And then I guess their flight got either canceled and they had to rebook it or delayed or something. But they had to stay a few extra nights. So I guess he was hot that they had to stay extra night. The next thing you know, at like 1 or 2 in the morning, he's on the phone talking to God knows who, saying, hey, you want me to get my Glock? I got a Glock. You know what? I got weapons and stuff. Like, you know, trying to scare them to let them know, y'all gotta go. I don't want you here no more. So he's like, yeah, I got a weapon, and, you know, walk down the street with your Glock in your hand. You know what? I'll shoot people. And, you know, I'm not even sure if he really has the stuff, but little stuff like that. When he's mad, he makes an enemy out of everybody. And ridiculous stuff. So let me tell you the signs that God was giving me. Before I even moved in, dude was telling me that he had one person leave him $750. I didn't know, you know, I didn't know why. Because he was pretty much a wolf in sheep's clothing. Then he said he had another lady that left him a whole $400. So pretty much these people were paying the rent and then just dashing out of town. So my thought was, okay, these must have been some rich people that came from out of town that, you know, they didn't really need the money. But when I got to see who he was, it wasn't that they didn't need the money. It was that they were scared of him and his crazy antics. Like he has a mental illness. So it wasn't that he was, you know, a good person and that they wanted to stay there, but they had, you know, something just came up and they had to leave and they just let him keep the money so he could find someone else to stay there and have, you know, that much rent. No, this man was crazy. And that's why they got up and left. This man was childish. He was a nutcase. Let me tell you guys another little thing. This was like 2 weeks after I moved in. He asked me to watch a movie with him, and I was like, you know what? Okay, I'll watch a movie with you, because he kept asking. So we watched Orange is the New Black. So it's on the scene where where Piper is on the plane and she's using the bathroom. Dude took that as an opportunity for show and tell. So he goes in the room and gets his prison gear out, or jail gear, or whatever. He went in the room, took all his blues out, and was showing it to me like, oh, I remember when I had to do this, and oh my God, this is painful watching this stuff. Pure insane. Now, I didn't even ask him why he went to jail. I didn't even want to know. I had just moved in. But lunatic. So those people leaving him the money was sign number 1. And I never know until afterwards. Like, you know, I just don't catch on. Like, you guys probably like, Shauna, why didn't you know? Ain't nobody just gonna leave, you know, $750. You know what? I honestly don't know. God has shown me so much stuff, and I didn't get it till later. But the money, and then him, you know, getting upset and being a child and making an enemy out of everybody because he's not sure who it is, who backstabbed him or whatever. Always trying to scare people with the Glock, and the man is crazy. He's on and off drinking, you know, this beer and stuff, and he like those big bottles of beer too. He be in there drinking those big, huge bottles, and it was, you know, he stopped for a minute because he said the doctor said he's gonna die because he's kind of big. He's one of those people with those kind of thinnish legs, but then they kind of got like a big stomach, not too thin, but you know, big stomach. And he's like, the doctor said I'm gonna die if I don't stop drinking, but still drinks. So he went through this period where he stopped drinking for a minute. Then those girls from Holland came And then he had extra money, so he started doing that again. This was right around the time where he started acting crazy again. And then he like admitted to me that, hey, I want those girls gone. I bet if I start drinking more, I could tell them everything when I'm drunk. So wanting to act a lunatic. So okay, aside from the accusing me of marijuana and all that other stuff, this dude had more. Like, he's really unstable. And I met him off Craigslist because, you know, people find rooms to rent off Craigslist. He doesn't even have his real name on there. I don't even know if I should even say his name. You know, it's not his real name on the account. And then, you know, he told me to call him something. He showed me his ID, so I assumed the name that he gave me was right. But then the other girl, she called him something else. And then another girl that was living there that moved out, she called him something else. But after he accused me of the marijuana, and I don't even smoke, that was when I was like, I gotta get out of here. And then he's telling the other girl, you know how people will piss you off, but there's somebody else in the house, so they'll be talking to them more and trying to make you mad. Like, he's sitting there trying to make conversation with her, and mind you, he don't even like her because she's always, you know, making the house smell like stuff that he doesn't want it to smell like. Like, I didn't have a problem with her, but it was just her laundry at times was bad, but she was real cool. But you know what? He was trying to piss me off because the day after he, you know, kept accusing me, he started talking to her more. And of course I can hear because it's only a sheep. But he was really, you know, doing the most. And I have a pretty good idea where that marijuana smell might have came from. But I don't like to accuse people when I'm not 100% sure. But my discernment tells me I know exactly who strolled by with that marijuana. But I didn't smell it. Not that, even if I would have smelled it, marijuana wouldn't wake me up. Because it's not a smell that, you know, I don't mind the smell of it. But a cigarette, now that will wake me up. So please don't try it near me. But, yeah, you know, I have an idea, but you know what, God told me to let that be. You know what, if it is the person I think it was, he's going to deal with them. You know what, and you know, God has a way of making you move. If you don't want to go, because he, you know, he gave me signs when the dude was first off acting crazy. But if you don't go, he'll do something to make you go. So I took that as, you know what, God wanted me to go. Now, unlike those other people that left him money, I paid a month because he pissed me off right at the end of the month. Like, it was the 28th or the 29th of that month. And then he had already had my next month's rent. But I wasn't about to leave him that money. So I stayed until the last, like the 29th or the 30th, no, like the 28th or 29th of the month that I had already paid for. Then I left. And it was crazy because the day that I was planning to escape at 1 in the morning, it was ridiculous. I had to plan an escape so that he wouldn't be up. The day I planned to escape, that same day he asked me, hey, John, and he called me John trying to be funny. You know what? I let him be funny. He's like, hey, John, you gonna be here next month? I was like, yeah. Now, I didn't feel like I owed him any courtesy because he showed me that he was a psycho. And he would give me a hard time if I would have let him know that I was leaving, because he gets ticked if, you know, things don't go his way. So I didn't feel like I owed him courtesy or nothing to tell him a month in advance that I wasn't coming back. I felt like he got exactly what he deserved. I didn't owe him nothing. So that's my crazy housemate story for you guys. Peace.